All right, guys, so yesterday was a particularly sad day. And the reason why is because there were a couple of noticeable deaths. In fact, there's been quite a few noticeable deaths that have happened in the last few days. However, today we're going to talk about one death in particular. But before I get into that, I do want to, highlight Senator Harry Reid, who passed away yesterday. He was in his 80s. I think he passed away from pancreatic cancer. Rest in peace to him. Anytime a politician dies, or a major political figure, or any major figure in this country that has had an impact in this country, as long as it's been generally positive for the most part, I say, hey, we should put our politics aside and just say, hey, rest in peace. Okay. I also want to make sure I highlight Mr. Desmond Tutu, who's a South African priest who was very much against apartheid back in the 80s and the 90s. He also passed away a few days ago, I think on December 26th. I want to make sure I highlight him as well. But the death I want to talk about today in particular is the death of NFL coach and commentator, a legend, John Madden, who also passed away yesterday unexpectedly. And I really want to talk about this because, one, John Madden had a great influence on me as a child, right? I grew up playing the game of Madden NFL football. That was my favorite game. It's a game that made me want to be an NFL football player. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Didn't hit the genetic lottery. But I grew up listening to this guy commentate, right? I grew up listening to a lot of the wisdom that he would give, not just in real life commentary, right? But also in the game as well, okay? I remember some crazy lines in the game where he would say some things I still remember to this day, right? For example, he would say something like, boom, that collision is like when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, right? Stuff like that. It really just blew my mind. And it's one of the things that I just remember from playing the game so much and just listening to him commentate over the years, okay? The guy is just an absolute legend, right? He's a legend. He's a man among men. And I think that's why he was such an amazing coach back in the 60s and the 70s with the Raiders, right? He had an amazing record, right? He had like 103 wins to 32 losses, okay? A 75% winning percentage, okay? He won a Super Bowl back in 1976 with the Raiders. I mean, the guy was just truly a legendary guy, right? And by all accounts, even people that met him personally say that the dude is so nice, right? That he's willing to take pictures with him, sign autographs. I was reading a story about how he left somebody like an amazing tip. Like, again, just in real life and in the video game, the Madden video game, this guy was just a legend, okay? And his legacy will live on forever, in my opinion. Now, part of his legacy is the Madden video game that ain't really all that good, right? It's not really all that good. But outside of that, his impact on football, on life, on a lot of young men who grew up either, playing football, playing the Madden game. Okay, I think that's going to live on forever, right? So he's a truly, truly, truly great guy. And I really can't speak highly of him enough, right? In terms of his influence on me as a person. But unfortunately, we have some people in this world who don't necessarily feel the same way that I do about John Madden. Even though the dude is not a particularly divisive person at all, there are some people out here who are just going to make everything about race, who are going to politicize the death of a great man like John Madden for their own gain, right? Or for whatever reason. I don't understand. Probably just woke virtue signaling. That's probably it, okay? Because this take right here from this professor, Dr. Andrew McGregor, who is a sports studies influencer, professor of history at Dallas College, who researches race, sports, and politics, is probably the worst take I've ever seen in my life in response to somebody's death like this, particularly a person that is not political, right? John Madden should not be a divisive figure. This might be one of the wokest and worst takes I've ever read in my life, okay? And this right here is proof, in my opinion, that wokeness is a mental disease. Big brain take here coming. And I want you guys to keep in mind before we get in there, the body's not even cold yet before this guy gives this asinine take. Body's not even cold. And this is what he's saying. Quote, I have a lot of opinions on John Madden. The creation of the Madden video game was not a great development for the U.S. It further glamorized violence and dehumanized black athletes. helping to establish Plantation cosplay that has grown worse in the era of fantasy football. Bruh, this dude is literally using the death of a NFL coaching legend like John Madden to basically talk about how the Madden football game that's named after him that he helped promote is racist, right? Saying that the game glamorized violence and dehumanized black athletes, helping establish a Plantation cosplay. This is as woke as a take as you can get, right? This is what our tax dollars are paying for, guys, right? This is what our tax dollars are paying for. But he doesn't stop. He goes on here. The video game distances the reality of the violent sport from fans and transform human behaviors into artificial numbers and simulations. It glamorized athletes using their name for profits while encouraging fans to disregard the humanity. Madden built a digital plantation. Wow. So I'm assuming he's talking about the game and Madden, right? I'm assuming he's talking about both. Let's read here. At every point in his career, coach, announcer, video game producer Madden profited off of black athletic labor and glamorized the violence inherent in the game. He became ubiquitous and grew the NFL into the most popular game and hastened the development of esports. Wow. Bruh, he's saying that John Madden built a digital plantation. I mean, he's low-key trying to call the man racist. Low-key, that's what he's saying without actually really saying it. Okay? Again, this is unbelievable. This, again, is why wokeness is a mental illness. These guys cannot examine or analyze anything except through the lens of race. Okay? People want to ask, why is critical race theory so dangerous? Why do people oppose critical race theory? Because this is literally critical race theory in action. But instead of examining the institutions of the United States through the lens of race, he's examining a video game and the impact that a coach had on the video game in the game of football through the lenses of race. This is why this ideology is so toxic, guys. Again, I'm a black person. I don't feel that way, right? At all. I don't feel like the NFL is a plantation. What type of plantation pays their athletes millions and millions of dollars a year, right? Well, if that's a plantation, sign me up. I want to be out there on that plantation, right? Sign me up. Again, the NFL, for as much criticism as they get, the whole race thing really just blows my mind because there's no institution in the history of this country that's created more black wealth than the NFL. Yes, it comes at a cost, but most people would take that risk and say, yeah, I might be damaged for the rest of my life, but I'm creating generational wealth for my family, right? For my descendants. That's not racism, bro. That is a willing exchange. And the players union in the league, they negotiate contracts with games like Madden football, right? To have these players' names and likeness in the game. So it's not like Madden's just profiting off of that for free. No, that's why you have license deals. You would think that this guy would know that, he would understand that. But he's acting like this is something that they're doing unwillingly, right? When that's not the case. Again, this is the type of guy that will probably say that GTA, right? Games like GTA, like Modern Warfare, they promote violence and create mass shooters, right? And criminals. That's probably the take that this guy would have. Sure, there's a lot of significance to his life and impact, but it's pretty clear most of his accomplishments were not beneficial or healthy for athletes, particularly non-white athletes. John Madden made a life in football one of the most violent and exploitative sports. Wait, hold on. Again, how can you say that when this dude paved the way for a game of football that made black athletes multimillionaires? How can you say he did not help black athletes? Again, this guy's insane. When your entire life is based on expanding and profiting off of one of the most violent and exploitative games, veneration is not exactly something that you deserve. Again, this guy's insane, right? He is absolutely insane. He is woke virtue signaling, right? And it's a damn shame that he's using a man's death, a legend like John Madden, to show how woke he is, right? How much he cares about black people, right? Allegedly. Because apparently this dude actually plays Madden, and he's probably not that good at it. As back in 2017, he tweeted The fake kneel down is the exact kind of play I would have used against my brother in Madden. It would have perfectly complemented my fake punt offense. So it seems like he may actually play Madden. Who knows? Okay. So while he's out here trying to virtue signal about how Madden is supposed to be exploitative, right, to black folks, he's out here exploiting black people himself, right, by purchasing the game and playing it with his brother. He's out there playing a game in which he is virtually laying out black people on a football field, right, commoditizing them and turning them into statistics, right? That's what he's doing. Okay, he is glamorizing violence against black people himself while trying to virtue signal, right? Woke virtue signal. Again, these people are hypocrites. The loudest ones are the people with the most in their own closets, right? That's usually how it goes. But he got roasted up for this. Okay, as you can see here, when he first tweeted this, his ratio wasn't very good. Okay, he had a whole lot of quote tweets. Okay, which means that people did not like what he was saying, and not a lot of retweets and not a lot of likes. Okay, and obviously people roasted him for it. Okay, he's a vegan at a liberal college. Yeah, so they roasted this guy up. Clown post. Right? Yeah, right. There are people like this, guys, that are out here that will politicize the death of somebody like John Madden for their own gain. Okay, it's really ridiculous, and it shows you how toxic ideologies like critical race theory actually is, because this is where it comes from, right? Examining things through the lenses of race. That's what he's trying to do, and he comes to the conclusion that this man was, some type of plantation owner, okay, that exploited black folks, and wasn't necessarily a good person simply because he was an NFL coach and a commentator, simply because he made his name off the game of football, which, again, by the way, built wealth for black people, is a millionaire factory for black people. Okay, so like I said, man, it's a shame that people like this actually exist, but regardless, it shouldn't take away from a coaching legend like John Madden. So once again, I'll say rest in peace to Coach Madden. May his legacy live on forever. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.